some examples of initiatives. Now, most of these examples are things that, I just happen to know that you all were already doing. So, for instance, personal safety, Chief Drew has a focus on community policing. In the health area, you're doing CNI support activities. In education and learning, we know that the Newport News Public Schools is working on a strategic plan. So the idea, we talked yesterday about, how does this link into the actual work that you're doing? This gives a little bit of an example of what that alignment might look like. And again, as we said yesterday, the initiatives haven't all been defined. They're, this is just an attempt at sort of saying, well, this is how you might see things starting to track. Does that make sense to you all? Yeah. Is that useful?
Yeah.
And you might then take it a little farther, and so you might have your goals, and this is, yesterday I said I'd show you a format of how I've done this sort of thing with other clients, where you have your goal, your objective, what's the initiative you're doing, how are you measuring it, and then what's your target for any particular year. And so you might have targets for the 5 years of your strategic plan, and then who's the owner of it, right? So who's the single belly button who's responsible for leading that initiative? Not who's solely responsible for making it happen, but who's the one who's the point person, right? And so once you know for sure what the first, forget about this part. Once you've decided for sure what the first two columns are, then Cindy and her leadership team can flesh out the right side of the chart. Okay? So in terms of where it's going, that gives you a little sense of where it might be going.
I'll just say, to take this kind of one step further, for example, in 5.1, you walk over to community development. You look at the initiative, for example, downtown and waterfront development. There's a subsequent, the next column would really be one of the actions. An action would be the lighting of 23rd Street for the downtown initiative.
Yeah, or that might in fact be in the initiative, either way.
Under
Yeah.
Denby Ward Plan, one of the corresponding actions is demolition of the actual Kmart. So that's kind of curious.
Right, so it gets
That's the
more
actual action
specific
plan.
as you go, exactly. So, does that make sense?
It does, but I think too what would be important is to make sure once you've done those things and check them all, that you archive them so you can look back at the year, what has been accomplished toward that goal.
Right, and very often what you end up with after you've developed something like this, the next column is status.
Okay.
Right? Or status and then comments or notes or whatever. And so, you can track status in a variety of ways. It can be as simple as not started, in process, or complete. It could be using a traffic light kind of thing, where green means that it's on schedule, on budget, everything's going well. Yellow means there's some sort of a concern, but it's not alarming yet. Red means it's off track, it needs attention.
So dashboards are really popular. This is similar to what we're talking about as far
Right.
as that.
Yeah, so this can evolve to be the basis for a dashboard. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can do that as simply as an Excel spreadsheet. You can do it, you can get an entire IT system that tracks your initiatives and aligns them to the strategic plan. And there's some really cool software that does that and that builds your dashboards, and but it can be as simple as a spreadsheet. So, spreadsheet or a Word document or whatever. So that's just to give you sort of a feel for where this might lead to. And again, as Bo pointed out, there are lots of levels of specificity that you can put into it. It depends on, I went back last night and looked at, because I had said, I'll pull together something that from one of my other clients, and what I realized was each client's was a little bit different based on where they were, what they were working on, what their interests were. So it was like, well, you know, this one's not that out. So, but that's sort of a generic concept for you. All right. So what I'd like to do now is spend a few minutes stepping through, you know, yesterday I gave you this like real high level, we got 7 goals and there's stuff in each goal. And what I'd like to do now is step through it in a teeny bit more detail. And this is not your last chance to have comments, but if you have reactions about, you know, what's awesome, what's less awesome, not so awesome, you know, we'd like to hear that. You know, does it resonate? Does it make sense? Does it make sense in a 5-year time horizon? All of that. So starting from this chart, which by the way, in your final strategic plan, Cleater's going to do her magic on this and make it prettier than what I've done, which is, you know, functional but not very elegant. So if we start out with health, safety, and well-being. So the basic structure here is there's a title, and then there is a goal statement that starts with an action verb. So enable all Newport News residents and visitors to feel confident in their safety and well-being. And by the way, in this plan, we use the term resident instead of the term citizen because there was a sense that resident was a more inclusive term. So this then has 2 objectives. Personal safety, provide public safety services to enable all residents and visitors to be confident in their personal safety and the safety of their property. And health, foster a healthy environment with equitable outcomes by increasing access to a greater range of medical services, fresh food, and more active lifestyles. Reactions? If you look in the plan on